guy. But we're going to go a little different today. We're going to talk about that thing that you really, truly love. And a lot of people that don't know, they're about to find out about how Mike Bivens really loved the thing they call street basketball. Just basketball in
Absolutely.
general. Let's touch on that.
Well, you know, the crazy thing is, though, Cash, like, where you are and what you and Chango represent, right, is the essence. You added a flavor that changed the whole landscape of basketball, how we consumed it, either in the park or on YouTube by being announcers. And it became something that came popular all the way from New York, Harlem to Los Angeles, Venice Beach, and anything in between. And one, you know what I mean, trying to take away that flavor, or anybody else, Dykeman, anybody else that's doing it, we got to pay homage to the pioneers. And you always had like a different type of style about your thing. You know what I mean? You're a little more laid back to the curb like me. That's why we connected so smoothly, because even though we could be loud and we could be fly, we just approach it a little different. That's important to our style. And for me, basketball is a style. And I had a certain style, and I just wanted to get in New York, where I thought the Mecca was. And the first kid I met in New York, to keep it 100, that put me on my heels was a kid named Mike Boogie. I'm not sure if you know who he was, but Mike played for each one, teach one, and he shook the shit out of me, right? But I handled that at PS 201, right? And once I got shook and I understood New York shaking style, I shook the shit out of Mike Boogie when I got the ball back. And he came up and slapped me 5 because I was 15 with a New Edition jersey on, playing at PS 201 with our fans. And I realized New York is about you get me, I get you.
No
That's
doubt.
the mentality. You know what I mean?
No doubt. Yeah. And I just want to touch on a guy from Boston. I believe his name was Greg Simpson.
Greg Smooth Simpson. My idol, yes.
Yeah. I had to do a little research to find that about, your relationship and how you looked up to him. So is that basically one of the guys you really looked up to that lived in Boston?
You know what was so nice about Greg? He always kept a fresh cut, which is what part of the ball mentality. But he would approach the gym a little different. He come in with his sneakers a little untied, little more slip-on style than tied up the track. He used to rock like the, the Kango style Gillian hat. And he would come to the game early to sit in the stands to watch what was the flavor of the audience. And me being younger, I'm sucking it up. I'm 12. I'm like, damn, this nigga fly. Then he would come, bro, and get on the court and be total entertainment. He'd be dipping and shaking the head and here and hiring, all of that. And I was like, God damn, the ball like a yo-yo. And and that was the style that interests me. And I thought that if you play ball and you was the point guard, you got to have a threatening game about you, an embarrassing game, because as a ball player, we come in with our shorty. Like, yo, baby, hold my bag. But if you busting his butt and he got his shorty, then when they walking from the park, it ain't the most nicest conversation no more, because you just got destroyed. And Greg looked like his mentality was to destroy. And that's what I realized as a ball player, that I need to destroy the situation. And I learned that from Greg Smooth Simpson, one of the playground legends of the city of Boston.
Yeah, that's super dope, man. That's super dope. And like, what was your involvement with the Entertainers Basketball Classic? Because you became family. I'ma see. Do you remember when we first hooked up. It wasn't in. Oh no. Let me rephrase that. The first time we hooked up out of New York. Do you remember where that was?
Nah, man. But I know the first time I went uptown. I know the first
Okay.
time I went
Touch on
uptown.
that. Touch on that,
The
and then
first
I'm
the
gonna
first
run
time I
through.
went uptown, I was living in Gun Hill Projects in the Bronx. I was dating a young girl named Joy, and I was running with her sister, Rita's husband, Mark Baker, who was a CO at the prisons. And I used to do them niggas in Gun Hill at the projects basketball court.
Mm,
And
right.
he was like, yo, you think you a ball player? I was like, nigga, I'm doing these New York niggas. What is you talking about? I'm 15 with Popcorn Love on 98.7 Kiss. Like, I'm on the radio, but I'm in the projects playing Project Dudes, right? He said, yo, I want to
Right.
take you over the bridge. So we went over the Bronx River. He took me over the 145th off of the Bruckner, and he took me right up into the park. He said, that's Rucker Park. I was like,
Mm,
oh, snap. We never got out the car. It was packed wall to wall. Y'all probably was on the mic. And I was in the
mm,
car driving from the Bronx. But he wanted me to see the mecca of the legitimacy of the New York flavor. So that's my first introduction to Rucker Park, was a CO officer named Mark Baker from over there on the Grandmaster Flash and the Raheem side of the South Bronx.
okay. Right. Well, the first time we actually met, you guys was performing at Broadway International.
Ooh, disgusting. I got a story about that though, Cash. You know the crazy
Well,
shit? I made
uh-huh.
$4 that night. Now, New Edition was too young to be up in the club. But
Right.
Broadway International had a different type of crowd, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
some crazy reason, right, I might have had about 4 or 5 grown women. I'm 15, 14, throwing money on the stage. And of course, Ralph was Michael Jackson. Do you
Right.
know these women was putting money on the stage at 2 o'clock in the morning? And when
Mm-hmm.
Ralph counted his bag, he had $22. When I counted my money, I have 4. Bob, Rick, and
Wow.
Ron didn't make no money that night. I don't know Bob what he was doing. I know Ron
Right.
always been fly. Rick always was singing. But that night, $26 besides what we got paid to perform was in our pocket. Because I might have had 4 chicks from Harlem that thought I was fly. That's my only story for Broadway. I don't know what the hell made them put money in front of our mic stands. I made $4 that night at 2 in the morning, and Ralph made 22. It's the
That's
craziest story, and I
that's
didn't know you was
crazy.
there.
And
Absolute.
and the late Greg Marius, he became a big fan of you guys at that performance. I don't know if he
Nice.
ever told you, but yeah,
Nice.
yeah. And here's something that's really gonna shock you. All right, of course. I mean, I don't know if you remember. I used to DJ. They used to call me DJ LB,
Right.
and we was at a place called Randy's Place on 125th Street. So to
Mm-hmm.
this day, I don't remember who the dude was, but he came up to me and gave me a tape.
Got
So
you.
my cousin JR was like, "Yo, play it."
Right. 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 Right.
And it
Right.
was
Right.
Candy Girl, and it was Candy
Nice.
Girl. And
Nice.
I mean, not to pat myself on the back, but I was the first DJ to play your joint in Harlem.
In the New York,
That's crazy.
yo. But listen. You one
Okay,
of the first ones on the microphone. You only sticking to the script. That's the script.
no doubt,
That's
no
Al
doubt.
B with the cash. You was getting the bag back then.
Right,
Absolutely.
right, right,
Absolutely.
right. And like I was telling you, the first time we hung out was down, and I think it was 96, 97. It was
Right.
the last Freaknik down in Atlanta, Georgia. You remember that?
I absolutely do remember that. And you know what I want to talk about? And I'm not sure if you know this, but I want to share this on the show.
Okay.
I was booking Mobb Deep to perform along with the people from How Can I Be Down, and the show got canceled. So
Mm,
Havoc rest in peace, Prodigy, was in Atlanta looking to pick up their bag, but the show was canceled. And they
Right.
was looking for money. I wasn't the promoter. I'm just Mike Bev. I'm going to the same party they was going. And I pulled Havoc and Prodigy in the corner. And I said, Money, this ain't got nothing to do with me. But I know y'all came down from New York to pick up some money. But
Right.
I understand what you feeling right now because it ain't no show tonight. And I went in my back pocket, man. And I took out 500 and 500. And I put it in Havoc and Prodigy's hands and say, listen, we in the same community. I understand. And it was the darkest room, the darkest corner, and the darkest situation. And I just say, yo, the Freaknik is over. And these two live MCs is down here in Atlanta. And ain't nothing popping. And it ain't even my responsibility. But because I know where they coming from and how they feeling, I'm going to take a stack out of my pocket that I needed to feed my basketball team, and I put that in their hands. And I ain't never told that story a day in my life. And that's the real shit, bro. They got 500 apiece from me in a back room on a party that wasn't even mine. Ain't even my responsibility.
Crazy. That's real crazy, Mike. So let's get to the park. Let's get to 155 and 8th Avenue. Okay, so now you said homie from the Bronx brought you up to the park. You started
Mark Baker. Mark Baker. That's his name. C.O. Mark Baker.
Mark Baker. How did you get with Greg Marius? How did you and Greg click together?
It's crazy, right? Now, you know, somehow or another, he found me, got my number. I'm in a hotel in Midtown, and I get a call. There's a celebrity game at Rucker Park before the actual league. And I'm in the hotel, and I got on some black suede Pumas with the gold stripe, the Clydes, some cut-off jeans, look like I hit it with my scissors, in a yellow T-shirt, and I go uptown because I'm thinking I'm fly. To me, I'm dressed fly. But when I walk into the park, I'm like, oh, shit, it's packed. And then I look at some people, they was laughing at me like, yo, what the hell this nigga got on? Like, why he got on them shorts? Why he got on them Pumas? And I didn't have my sneakers because I'm showing up not knowing that he wanted me to play. So I had to borrow somebody's sneakers in the stand. Wow. And I got out on the court with my jean shorts on, my yellow shirt. I walked into the Terror Dome, and my first play, I tried to go behind my back and spin, and the shit went out of bounds, and everyone's laughing. And I'm like, this ain't a good look. This don't feel right. And then Greg's like, yo, just stay in it, stay in it, Mike. Then I'm coming down. Then I get stripped. And I'm like, God damn. And then I come down, I shoot a ball, and it's an air ball. I'm like, yo, what a horrible day. So I had a horrible celebrity game at the Mecca. Wow. And he came and made me feel better and say, listen, it was last minute. I appreciate you coming. I said, I sucked. I played myself. Last time I was here, I was outside on the curb, and I'm looking in the park. Now I'm on the court. It's packed. People sitting on the court, feet on the sideline, bro. And I stunk out the joint. And because he wanted me to feel better, we had a relationship based on how he made me feel because he knew I played myself. But because I did it for him, he didn't want me to leave the park and feel no worse than how I felt. And I thought that was real 100. And I held on to that forever. And it opened up the conversation and the relationship that lasted for years after that, which you know how long it lasted. You know? And that's really real talk.
Did. But you redeemed yourself, bro. You came up, you played a couple of times uptown.
Yo, you know what's crazy, bro? You know what's crazy? I played with the Brooklyn Kings, man. I played with them, and I don't know if you remember, Cash. You know who was in the backcourt? The team that I sponsored? I had Booger Smith, Kenny Kings, and I had Jamal Timsley in the same
Wow.
backcourt one summer. And at one point, Kenny put me on the court. He wasn't really playing me like I was a factor, though. I was like, nigga, you're playing me a little bit, Kenny. But I
Right.
get where we going with this. I know you ain't looking at me like Booger or Jamal, who went on to Iowa State. And you know, Booger was notorious in Soul in the Hole. But
Right.
I got out there and I had them on the wings. And I did the fly motherfucking shit. And the park went crazy. And the Brooklyn niggas was coming to Uptown because they had their own part of the stands on the back wall up by where the chairs used to be in the back where Greg used to do the lounge. And I said to
Right.
myself, it felt good to be with an extreme dribbler like Booger, who was tearing up in Soul of the Hole, and to be on the opposite side of Jamal before he even went to Iowa State. And it made me feel good, and that's what was my redemption. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I brought
Yeah.
the
You remember?
Brooklyn Kenny Kings. That was the team I sponsored in the Rucker. Real
Right.
talk.
And that year, matter of fact, that game, Ray Allen was out there.
Mm-hmm.
What was the name of that movie? You got
You
game, he
talking
got
about
game.
you talking about the He Got Game, right? Is that it? You talking
Right,
about the
right,
Brooklyn movie about Lincoln High? Right.
right. He
The
was
the
out there.
Denzel Washington joint. Right.
Right. Denzel was out there that day too when you played, Mike. I don't know if you remember,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good look. So, all right. So now you got a relationship with Greg, EBC. Now that big money game, that challenge, New York against Boston. Let's touch on that a little bit, bro, because you brought
What
the kids.
the Baron Davis and them niggas and what was my man name for the Wizards? What was his name? What was the kid that
Uh,
from LA that played for the Wizards? He had the gun in the locker room and shit. No, Gilbert.
oh
No,
yeah,
Gilbert
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
have the gun. The other dude did. Gilbert
Damn.
Arenas. Them
Right, Gilbert.
niggas.
Right,
Right, right. Um, that was what we call EBC America. It was an
right,
extension of what
exactly.
y'all did in the summer, right?
Right.
And I had my young boys in the back court. And that was interesting because some of them LA kids was a part of Biff 10. So Barron's brother, my nigga Shaw, they was all on the sideline. And it was an interesting game because it rained out on us. And we had to go
Okay.
to Gaucho's gym.
Right,
But we was getting in their ass in the first half. And it was
right,
real, it was a little bit of tension. We had a little skirmish at the half court. We had even a more skirmish in the Gaucho gym. But what I liked about it is I used to rent that bus and bring them brothers up from Boston every week, which was costing me paper. But I knew how
right,
much Boston wanted to compete with Harlem. And Greg was allowing me the opportunity to keep my company name and my ball players in the streets. And y'all was opening the arms to Boston coming to Harlem every week, which was a 4-hour ride, 4-hour ride back. I had to feed them. Remember, we had the Harlem Cafe. You could get the hot
right,
sausages and the icy over there. So I would take care
right,
of them. And it was just our way of trying to be a part of what y'all do. That's it. There ain't no myth or secret to it, man. We have so much respect for Harlem and basketball that for us in Boston, we just want to bust y'all's ass, Cash. That meant everything to us by any
right,
means necessary because of the respect that we have for the five boroughs. And of course, y'all and the way y'all opened your arms to us, man, was like we was family. So that's my
no doubt,
memory of EBC America, an extension of the summer league that ran from June to August.
no doubt. And then, eventually, you started hosting the EBC show. What was that? ESPN, MSG,
MSG.
MSG. How,
Mm-hmm.
how did that happen?
You know the crazy shit, bro? I was getting married in '06 and I'm in the Bahamas and I get a call from Greg. Yo, I'm going on ESPN2 Cold Pizza, which you know today is called First Take. He said, Mike, they're going to put me on TV. And I know Booby at that time was doing this thing in Hannibal, and I heard it
Right.
was a little undertone about this nigga ain't even in the park. Greg, like, come on, man. What was they call it? What was this shit? White Wednesday, Ashy Wednesday, or whatever that thing was.
Icy White Wednesday.
Icy White,
Right.
right. And you know I love Booby to death. And Hannibal, and I know all of y'all, you know, everybody was doing their thing. And he said, Mike, I want to put you on there because there's two things. I want to give you an opportunity to do something you've never done, articulate basketball on ESPN. But I'm getting a little heat from my team because it's an opportunity for them to go from the park to ESPN. So he called me in the Bahamas. He said, you got to go on. Bro, I looked at the videotape of the Fat Joe Mousy team doing the Terror Squad. I wasn't in the park. I went live on TV watching the tape 10 minutes before air and broke the whole freaking game down. I broke the whole game down like I was sitting at half court in the recliners. I was nowhere near the park. And the host of the Cold Pizza was like, man, that sounds like it was a great game. I was fronting. I know I was going against the staff. I know bro put me in a position, but I felt like it was a dream come true. And I don't like to block nobody else's blessings. But I was shocked that he gave me the ball and I didn't even know the whole play.
Right.
I was on TV just freestyling. And then it went from Cold Pizza to MSG, picking up EBC. And then we had a weekly show. And then Tihari got down with that too. So I don't know where y'all was going. You know, you and Tango, Greg, you know, we all got our different relationships with Greg. But at that time,
Right.
I was moving in and announcing, but I really wasn't doing what y'all was doing, which was the play-by-play on the court. So I was actually an intern to what Tango and Cash, Booby, and Hannibal was doing on the court.
Right. So,
If that makes any sense.
nah, that makes a lot of sense. So, what was your opinion? Like, I hear you talking about Tango and Cash. Just let's touch on them a little bit. Like, you know,
On
I
y'all,
appreciate Yeah,
y'all are like Cisco and Ebert for movies. You know, y'all are like the Blues Brothers. Like it's something about duos. You know what I'm saying? The yin and the yang, and you know, it's always got to be the first, and then it's always got to be the follow. And you know what I'm saying? Thank you, sir. Pop. You can just drop that in the seat right there. Just drop it down. Thank you. And what y'all was doing was y'all was making the N1s and everybody else that wanted to get into the street ball understand, and the Dykemans that in the tri-states and the Mousy, everybody could see that it ain't just the game that's holding our attention. It's the announcers and the conversation and how we go up and down the court and pinpoint the ball play and give them a nickname and focus on something and make it more entertaining than just sitting in the stands. And that microphone like you got now is so powerful, but that's what made you powerful, the way you controlled the mic. And I was a fan of it. And whenever I would walk in the park, what was crazy is, I don't care what no one say, bro. Any nigga going uptown that night under the lights wanted you to look at him and recognize him, nigga. I don't care what no one say. They can act like they don't want no attention, or I don't want no... Nigga, you want attention or your ass wouldn't have came. But what y'all would do was recognize a brother in the stands and shout him out, and it'd make the whole night. I was a part of that many a nights, because you would never let me sit up in the park without shouting out my name, and it rung bells. But you know the interesting thing, bro? And this is the realest shit I've never said on nobody's nothing. I never would take Greg's accommodation in the recliners, and I never sat in the front row of the bleachers because I never looked at myself as a celebrity. You know what I did? I made a section in that last basket where the players will walk through the fence, and I sat up at the top row in Rucker every game, and I went to many a games. And you know what I used to call it? I used to say the top row is the Miki Fiki front row, because I said if it jumps off, I'm jumping over the wall. I'm out of here. I'm never going to get stuck on the floor trying to be fly. So I sat up in the
Right.
top under the basket all the time. That was my
Wow.
seat. That was my Spike Lee, the last row, standing up on those 3 poles. I never did the court ever in my life.
That's crazy. That's real crazy. And I kind of remember you did sit up top.
Up
So
top.
now
I
you
said
know.
the top row is the front row, baby. We up here, baby. And every ball player, Skip and his family, Kareem and his peoples, and what's my man's name? I'll be right back. All them niggas was sitting in front of me. All them niggas. Even Black Ali Mo before he passed. All
Right.
them niggas was in that section because it was something cool about being a little bit more up than sitting a little bit more down. And
Right.
that was our section. Real talk.
That's crazy. So when like I'll be honest with you, Mike, I probably was doing like a lot of different things back then. But Greg had brought teams to Boston, and I actually have footage of that. And I watched the games, and it was crazy. Like the energy in Boston really is no different than the energy here in New York. So can you just touch on that a little bit, like New York
Well,
coming to
well, let me
Boston?
let me let me keep it real with you. I told Greg I'm doing my stuff in Boston, and I want to have something that's similar to New York. Greg made the call to Reebok to Todd and put me in position to get that money. Greg Marius put me with Todd, but Todd did not pull the trigger until Steve Stout called him and said, "Give Mike that damn money." Steve
Mm,
Stout at the Gaucho's gym on a rainy day called Todd on his phone and said, "Yo, give Mike that money, let him do his thing." Greg called Todd and said, "If you're going to give Mike the money, we're going to come to New York. Just put us on the bus." The Rucker officialized the tournament. Steve Stout got the paper. And when y'all came to Boston, Boston was on a fire. Sham God and Kareem was the first two in the backcourt, and they lit up the damn park. From that day forward, I ain't looked back. I'm about 22, 23, 24, 25 years in right now, just based on the
oh,
fact of New York came through at a time when I needed it the most, and Greg made sure it happened, man. I had to keep it
wow.
luxurious, though. The nigga always
Right,
wanted a
right,
bus. He wanted the big passenger bus with the DVDs and all of the trimmings. And I said, "Nigga, you
right, right.
spoiled." He said, "Nah, nigga, I'm just G the commissioner." And it was the funniest, but he deserved it. That was my guy. That was my
Yeah,
guy.
no doubt. That's crazy, and that's the story of all stories. Because a lot of people,
Yes,
they heard
yes.
about the game, you know. So, what about your company? What is it?
Sporty
Sporty
Rich?
Rich? Yeah.
Yes. Well, Sporty Rich
So,
is everything, man. It's
mm,
music, it's fashion, it's TV, it's film, and it's community.
oh,
Everybody knows me from Biv Entertainment, which was ABC and Boys to Men, a production company. Then Biv
right.
10 Records, which was 702, ABC and the East Coast family, BBD, Boys to Men, ABC. And then Sporty Rich is the new company. And you got to reinvent yourself out here, bro. You can't keep staying in the same lane, doing the same lame shit because you become stale. So now I'm on the
Right.
Sporty Rich, and I got a documentary coming out called A Hustle of
Mm,
617 Mike Bev. And the
hmm.
footage that I'm using from the Rucker Park is the day Allen Iverson and Stephon Marbury came to the park and played for the Bad Boy team against Boston the day after they got drafted in the NBA.
Wow,
I
that's a
got that
good look.
footage. Yes. And
That's
I had a $1,500 bet with Puff Daddy, and I lost, my nigga. I ain't want to give him my money, but it is what it is. They
right.
got me. They beat us
Mm,
that day. We had a $1,500 bet on some fly shit, and he won. But the Ruck is a part of it, and I talk about Greg, and I talk about y'all, and it's about music and ball. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I know a lot of brothers in the music industry like sports, but
hmm.
New Edition ushered in basketball into the music business, by playing the WBLS Short Shots in 1983. We are the epitome of a celebrity game because that's how it started, playing some grown-ass men. Then it ended up with Each One Teach One and Street Niggas at the PS 201s in Harlem. Then it went to the Todd Bridges and the Stoney Jacksons and them niggas from the White Shadow to the Full Forces and all that to the ESPN on Friday nights. So ball is my life and music is the soundtrack. And the Sporty Rich will bring out the music, the documentary, and the flavorful clothing so that you become a part of the family and the fabric of what we selling.
Wow. Wow. That's a good look, Mike. And you know, we never really got a chance to thank you. Like a lot of people don't know that the love that you had for me and Duke, when 702 did a video out in Brooklyn, you actually had us in. I actually had I still have the shirt upstairs. You know, the referee shirt.
Yeah, the referee shirts. Yeah.
Hold on. Listen to this. I just figured it out. I said, I wonder. You know, it said Bib 10 on it, right? But in the back it said Al Cash. No, it said Cash. And it said it said 96. So just recently I figured it out. That was 96, right? Was it
Yes.
96?
Yeah, that was the number, the year that we did it. That's the year I made up the referees. And I did those special shorts for Puff, Jermaine, a few people back then, which I was on that FUBU shit back then. That was before Sean John and FUBU and Carl Kanai and Cross Colors. I was branding back then. I just didn't go hard with it the way I should. And the crazy thing is, Cass, with a music company, the logo was an orange ball with a black hand, which was uncommon for a record label to have a ball and a hand as the logo to represent the music. That's how much we love this ball together in life.
Word.
You feel me?
And no, I got you. And you know, I'm down in the A now, but up in New York in my apartment, I'll actually still have the Bib 10 jacket also. You was the first one that I know that came out with the leather sleeves. It was blue and orange.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that was those were starter jackets, man, and it's so many lanes and so many parables, man, and crossroads, man, that we do. And today ain't nothing but just love. I only jumped on the live today because I love you, brother. And I know you got Reggie coming tomorrow, this, that, and the third. But I wanted you to know that Wednesday was a special edition. We couldn't get on last week. But it ain't even really about me, man. It's really about you, bro. And if you're in the A talking to Shakim, the streets that you walk in your legendary microphone status will always reign at 155 and 8th Avenue. Period.
No doubt. And I appreciate Shakim. It's a lot of history there. He ever tell you the story about
He tells me all the time, man. You know Shakim is the best storyteller. He the best in the business, man. The best DJ, the best storyteller. Nigga try to take me to the gym and shake me. Told that nigga Kevin Durant could never stop AI. Get out of here. You know, he tall, think he fly, but that's my guy.
No doubt. So, Mike, I mean, I think we touched on a lot. I mean, is it anything else you want to touch on?
No, I just want to say to the people that joined in tonight, it ain't about breaking no internet. It ain't about no breaking news. It's about life. We in a pandemic, right? And if we can't call each other to chop it up and talk, then who are we and what are we doing? You're building a platform. You have friends, and friends should show up. Okay? It's a call. It's not the manager. It's not the agent. It's not the bullshit. If Al called, Tango called, jump on the line, you know what it is. Today was about community and camaraderie and brothership. And brotherhood, I should say. And I just want to say, anytime you need me, I'm going to be ready. Okay? It don't matter if it didn't work last week. It was supposed to work today. So we got this. We on film. The documentary's coming. You're going to be my guest to see the screening. I'm going to shout you out like you shout me out. And that's all I would say. I love my family. Anybody that tuned in today, y'all be safe wherever y'all are. Tune in tomorrow to talk to Reggie, who's another streetball playground legend, and keep following the program, following Cash, the man with the mic. If it ain't on the court, it's in the black leather chair, and that's what it is. And I love you to death, bro. All right.